Adams Furniture Restoration here with you guys on this glorious day. You can hear the birds chirping in the background, the enchanting hum of the weed whacker as weeds are being whacked. So anyway, today I'm going to show you guys real quick what wet sanding is. Now, not every single piece needs to be completely refinished. Sometimes it just needs a recoat. Tabletops are a good example of a piece that could take advantage of a recoat. Now, there's a lot of variables to get into when it comes to respraying stuff. You have to make sure that the finish underneath jives with the new one you're going to put on. There's a whole lot of stuff which I'm not going to cover today. But anyway, what I'm going to do is show you guys how to wet sand. It's very, very, very easy. It's basically the same process as sanding. So you just need a few things. Number one, safety glasses. Always have these. Even if you're wet sanding, I mean, there's not a lot of harsh chemicals involved, but still, you want to protect yourself. You never know what's going to happen. If you're not using these, you're a fool. Let's see, the other thing you would need is some wet dry paper. There's a lot of different sandpapers out there. This one, it will specifically say wet or dry because you can use it wet or you can use it dry. This is a 500 grit. I'm not going to go too nuts. A lot of times you should do different grits, 320, 400, 500, work your way up, this and that, but I'm not going to get into all that crazy stuff today. I'm going to keep this a little quick, a little more remedial. The other thing you're going to need is some water. You're also going to need some sort of lubricant, something to help cut the viscosity whilst you're sanding. I'll show you that in a second. Also a rag to keep everything dry. So, let's get started. What I like to do with sandpaper, which a lot of other people do, I did not invent this, is to fold it into threes. That's the way I like to use it. Now, a lot of people use sanding blocks for a lot of things. For this quick demo, I'm not going to use it. It's just not necessary. So, first thing first, throw on these babies. So what we're going to do is, I want to take some of this. I'm just going to put on a little bit. There's a lot of different ways to do this. A lot of times you should not directly apply water or different things to your furniture, but I know what I'm doing. So it's not really that big of a deal. If you're not familiar with the process, I mean, you should really mix your solution and do it that way, but like I said, a lot of this stuff is not rocket science. And as before, this is one method of doing it. There's a lot of different methods to get the same result in the end, so this isn't, you know, I'm not trying to preach that this is the only way to do it. This is just, you know, an effective way that I would do it. Okay, so I put the lubricant on there. I'm mixing up just a little bit of water. Now I'm going to take the paper. I want to make sure that's good and wet. Real easy. Just go back and forth like that. Now you can see the way that it's kind of sudsing up a little bit. So if I was not to use the lubricant, you can still see the paper's pretty clean for the most part. If I was not to use a lubricant, what will happen is it'll start to gum up on there. I'll see if I can do it over here real quick, just kind of see if it'll hold still. I don't want to go nuts. Okay, you can barely see it, but it's starting to gum up a little bit on there. So what will happen is if you don't have some sort of lubricant on there, the finish will start to stick to this, and then as you go back and forth, it's going to build up a little bit of heat from the friction. That's going to start to stick to that, and just ends up being more work for you. So you always want to use some sort of lubricant. I've heard of guys using dish soap. I don't know. I mean, if you're in a pinch and you need something, I guess you could give it a try. But I mean, I would just get use the right tool for the job, as they say. So anyway, that's all you do. Just go back and forth, back and forth. And you don't want to go nuts with it. You really don't want to chew into the finish too much, because when you apply different, or when you spray again on top of that, what's going to happen is it could actually eat in there, and then it could start to alligator, and you could have some serious adhesion issues. So you just want to go light with it. Now, all I'm trying to do here is just get out the surface scratches. I'm not trying to go nuts with it. Now, when I was done, I mean, like I say, you could step up different papers to get different results. But you could, what I'm going to do is I'm going to respray it, which I'm not going to get too much into. You could also use your different grits, and you can even polish this if you want a real high gloss sheen, but we're going to bring this back down to a satin, so that's why I'm going to respray everything. So basically, once you go back and forth, like I said, don't go nuts with it. Just take your rag and just wipe it dry. And then just get on an angle like that. Don't yell at me. I'm going to take off my glasses for a second so I can see what I'm doing here. Yeah, see, that looks good. I got out most of the scratches. I'm going to go over it a couple more times. I'm not going to go go nuts and bore you with me going back and forth 5,000 times. But that's pretty much it. You don't have to go crazy with it. Just a light sanding is all you really need. The other thing that I didn't have here, I don't know where it is. I guess I misplaced it, or maybe the dog ate it. I don't know. But if you have a squeegee as well, that's very convenient for stuff like this. Because, I mean, you can really get this thing soaking wet and take the squeegee and go and just knock it off and then dry it with the rag. That's, you know, the only other thing that I could, you know, suggest to make this a little bit easier for you. But just do small sections at a time. Don't do the whole table in one shot unless you're a maniac. And, I mean, if that's how you want to roll, go for it. But I would just do smaller sections, long, smooth strokes as always. Don't, you know, go back and forth a quarter inch here, that's just, it's going to look horrible, okay? It's just long, smooth strokes, go the whole way. And I know I really didn't do that too much here. About, like I said, this is just a brief little demo just to show you what's going on. But that is pretty much it. Guys, as always, do not forget to subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell the Pope, tell the President, tell your cat, your dog, your goldfish. Don't be afraid to tell them. Other than that, if you have any questions, don't forget, as always, put them in the comments, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Guys, thanks a lot, and have a wonderful, great day.